The last 10 days of November, particularly the 28th of November to the December 1st period, you're looking at a time in the sky with a really beautiful trine between Mars, the god of action and decisions and focused action, and Saturn. And they're connecting to a star called Bellatrix and an asteroid called Arachne in a wedge with Mercury. And what does that mean for you? It means you're coming into a time of getting a lot done with incredible focus and power and ease and discipline and perseverance in a way that may delight and surprise you. And it's not the first time you felt this. If you go back to September, the last week, the 25th to October 1st, you had some of this mojo as well, but it's fortified by Mercury supporting this story and Orcus, the punisher of broken oaths, in a really cool sky story. We're going to talk about how you can harness this and use this energy and how you're best able to sustain the energy for the best juice you can use based on your rising sign. I'm going to tell you where the power is to do all of this super focused action in a minute. Before we get going, I want to say a couple of things. If you're new to my channel, my name is Lori Lothian. I am a whole sign house Hellenistic astrologer, and I'm using the sidereal, not the sidereal, but not the Vedic sidereal astrology, but the tropical Western zodiac. Yes, tropical Western zodiac. I'm a Western astrologer. I'm also fond of asteroids, and I'll be talking about some of the asteroids and bodies in the sky that go along with this story that is really happening between about November 20th and all the way through to December 1st. If you want to go back and think about September 25th to October 1st, you'll get a gist of what you were doing then when Mars was also in direct motion in Gemini and in a trine to Saturn in Aquarius. And that two-part story, the two areas of the sky were highly active then. I remember I got COVID on September 25th, and then I had to move my apartment, pack boxes, clean the place on a move out that was only a week after I got COVID. I had so much strength of energy and power and focus and discipline to do that, which was nigh impossible, yet I had the planets on my side. So you too can have this kind of discipline and almost superpowered focus, determination, and energy. I like these words. I wrote them down. Strength, ambition, perseverance, discipline, deliberation, tons of energy, hard work, persistence, active forbearance. Took a couple of those words from one of my favorite books by Ren Butler, Archetypal Astrology, but it's the gist. You get the gist, right? Now, I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about the public story, like what could happen in the world, but I will say one thing. There is this punisher of broken oaths and the rule breaker against established rules, Orcus, is playing a part in the sky story. There were some things going on with Mercury back when Mars was trining Saturn to do with the Wuhan asteroid and also the asteroid America. There may be some kind of energy going on in the sky regarding pandemic legislation rules, things to do with Wuhan or the pandemic in general that are building up in the last 10 days of November, especially around the 28th and 29th. And I would expect to see some major news stories there, only because the last time this happened, Mercury was in the Virgo 25 degrees with Wuhan and America. And now Mercury's engaged in a very tight wedge with this new narrative. I'm going to show you the sky. I'm going to whiz through these. This is one of my quickies, like I did the Mercury quickie. We're not going to spend hours belaboring it. But if you're new to my channel, by the way, please do hit my like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. I do a lot of premieres, which you come chat with me as I go through the story, and I'm in the chat box with you, and we have a great crew of regular people. You'll get to know people around the world, and I usually have about 100 to 180 people join me in the live premieres, but the people who engage in the chat box, maybe about 40 at most regularly. So it's a nice intimate community. Come join in. And let's get rolling. And if you're in my live premiere now, you know the drill, right? Hit the like button. So let's talk about this energy of the star Bellatrix sitting with Mars. Now, Mars is already the warrior, and Bellatrix is the female warrior or the warrior woman star. And it has to do with wealth and favors from friends in high places and all kinds of really good stuff. And it's a bit like, warrior energy. And Bellatrix has a Mars-like nature. So we have this Mars-like star co-joined with Mars in the sky during this time that we're talking about, right? Really November 20th to December the 3rd, even you're going to be feeling it. And it's really precise around the 27th, 28th, and 29th of November. And at the same time, before I show you the sky, because I will show you what a wedge looks like, at the very same time, you have Saturn on Arachne, the weaver of beautiful tapestries who bested Athena, the goddess who was famous for her tapestries. Now, you don't want to do a weave off with Athena, but that's what happened. And unfortunately, what happened is Arachne got caught up in her weaving and went into like a spell of, superiority. And she wove a tapestry that displayed all of the foibles and the stories of the gods. The gods don't want people gossiping about them, right? Like, oh, so-and-so had incest with so-and-so and so-and-so betrayed so-and-so. And what Arachne did was create a visual tapestry of all the gods' screwed up stories. So it's like tabloid expose tapestry. Now, she realized she shouldn't have done that. And she ran off and Athena chased after her and she hung herself. And then Athena felt bad, little, godly remorse. And Athena turned her into a spider and said, you shall into the sky as a spider, and told her, you shall now weave for the rest of your days. I'll give you the power to weave forever. Why lose your talent? I'll turn you into a spider. So that's the story. A couple of thoughts about it. Saturn, the god of rules and structure in Aquarius, we the people, is on a placement that can either mean in our own lives and collectively there's something special, a talent we have that's better than the gods, but it can also be about the hubris of, basically thinking you can in fact defy the gods. And what are the gods in our modern world? Well, it depends on who you are. Someone will say it's the corporatocracy, or it's the WEF, or it's the elites, or the reptoids, or the reptilians, or the cabal. But so there's a sense of wanting to defy that story, and I'll tell you why. Asteroid Orcus, punisher of broken oaths, is square Saturn and square Mars. It creates a T-square in the sky. And Orcus is in Virgo, the sign that has to do with health. And so in what way is Orcus the one who defies the rules of the establishment and and is a punisher of broken oaths, whatever those may be? How about the Hippocratic Oath, do no harm? Code for those who know what I'm talking about. There could be some major news stories breaking out because Mercury is involved and he's the god of the news cycle. Let's show you the picture. Now, technically, Mercury is in Jupiter's sign. Jupiter is home in his home kingdom right now. Back here, Jupiter's in the late degrees of Pisces. And Jupiter wants nothing but the truth, the whole truth. So help me God. Mercury has to abide by what Jupiter cares about. Mercury will try to tell the truth in Sagittarius. I'll tell you though, Mercury in Sag energies is known for the white lie placement, also for the glossing over the details, like trying to spin cycle something to sound really positive. What could be spin cycling in our news cycle between November 20th and December 3rd, especially around the 28th and 29th, that also involves Orcus, the punisher of broken oaths and the rebel against established authority and rules. And this part of the sky is squaring Mercury and squaring Mars, creating a very gnarly T-square. Now, in your own individual charts, I might talk about Orcus a bit, but I'm also mostly talking about Saturn, because the good news is Saturn is in a kinetic formation called a wedge. It looks like a doorstopper. There's tension between Mars, the god of action, a war, decisions. And by the way, that Mars is in the United States Sibley chart house of known enemies. And there's tension between Mercury on the US ascendant and the house of the identity of the nation. So you're definitely looking at some kind of news story with large, big, bold stories of proclamations of war or peace or threats against, I don't know. Don't forget the Taiwan situation still there. China, Taiwan, US. There's also the Ukraine, Russia, US story. We'll see what happens. But that story is definitely peaking out between November 20th and December 1st. But again, because the punisher of broken oaths is in the sign of health, there could also be stories to do with pandemic, viruses, vaccines, rules, legislation, public outcry maybe, or whistleblower energy going into the story in the next 10 days. In your own life, however, Saturn is trying to mend the tension here between these two and bring something good to bear. And Saturn is with Arachne. So it could even be that Saturn says we're going to have a tabloid expose of the foibles of those in power, but it's going to be for all the good, for all the people, for all the time, or something like that. But in your own life, of course, it's not going to be that. It's going to be something much more intimate and personal to you. And that's what we're going to talk about in this recording. We're going to go through all the signs, and don't forget, it is always your rising sign that's best. And if you are new here and you don't know anything about me, check my description box below. My Divine Timing Masterclass is coming up in February. Get on the wait list, early bird discounts, all that. check my Cosmic Moonshine weekly forecast newsletter. I promise I won't bore you. And what I try to do is give you the highlights of the week ahead, things you should focus on. It comes in your inbox every Saturday. And if you're on that newsletter, you get a discount code, not free, but a discount code for a session with me. I'm not going to see that many clients in 23. I'm closing down a lot of my calendar to focus on some writing projects. But if you do want to see me and you want to get a discount code for that first one-time offer, you want to get onto my newsletter and check everything else below. Free, a bunch of freebies, guys. Minis of the houses PDF. Just check it all. Description box is below the video. All right, moving on to each story. I don't want to start with Leo. It confuses people. We're going to start instead with Aries. Yay, Aries. Okay. So I'm one of you. I am an Aries sun, moon, and rising sign, and Mercury's there too. I mean, I'm an Aries moon, sun, and Mercury, not rising sign. But if you are a rising sign, that's going to be the most accurate, but your sun and moon can work as well. Don't know your rising sign? Check my video on how to cast your chart. All righty. I've been talking all day, so if I sound hoarse, I apologize. I am recording this on November 20th, and it goes to my Patreon community first. So if you want to get on my Patreon community for ad-free early access to all my content, please do so. All right. So for you, Aries, sun, moon, and rising sign, what's happening here, excuse me, is that you have Mars, the god of action, the god of war, on Bellatrix, which, by the way, Bellatrix confers favors from friends in high places, as well as wealth. Bellatrix is sitting here talking to Mercury in a difficult, gnarly opposition. Mercury is like, got all the news that's fit to print. Mars is objecting. Mars is retrograde. It's kind of an interior warrior story. And you are feeling this tension in the sky in the next, last 10 days of the month of November into the 3rd of December. Very long energy of not just that opposition, but the trine particularly. Now, what I think is happening here is this, in a nutshell, because this is a quickie. There is some kind of Bellatrix support. Friends who are third house friends could give you favors, including siblings or friends from childhood, supporting you in some positive way and kinetically opening up to this talent of Arachne, this besting of the gods. And if you do have a special talent here, it can show up in some way in which you deliver that ability into a communal setting, a group setting, into a public part of the sky. With Mercury in the 9th house, there's a suggestion of wishing to travel to a foreign land, having to succeed in a court situation, something like that. You could find yourself here with a punisher of broken oaths involved, that you may also find that agreements regarding leases, pets, or debts are in your storyline and you're really focused on them for some reason. So certainly look for that gnarly tension, because Mercury, the god of contracts, is squaring the broken oaths god. Now it's Orcus, the punisher of broken oaths, not the oath breaker. So possibly, like, I'll give you me as an example. My landlord gave me very short notice to get out of her place, and kind of broke an oath of I could stay there till the end of April by wanting her place back in September. That's when I packed all those boxes when I had COVID and had determination in the last week of September. And this could be the antidote for that. And for my story, I'm signing a lease for a new rental this next couple of weeks. So that would be like the remedy, for the situation. Possibly you may have something similar. Don't trust Mercury in Sagittarius because he doesn't know how to tell the truth necessarily here. He can be very white lie. So watch for sort of stories coming from your 9th house of courts, legal affairs, higher education, father and father-like figures that just may need a little fine print look at it, and make sure that you're not falling into some kind of spell where what you're looking at, what you see is not what you get, and all is not as it looks or appears. Okay. So definitely look at the fine print on legal matters, especially. But you're definitely looking like you're moving into some kind of success in the 11th house. And this could definitely put you in a position where in a community or larger social setting, you're getting an elevation over the next 10 days. Well, I'm recording this, but November 20th to December 3rd. Taurus, sun, moon, but always especially most accurate rising sign. I say this every time and people still ask me, should I listen for my rising? Listen for your rising sign. Okay, your rising sign is more accurate. For you, And this is this ambition, drive, discipline, focus, and perseverance. And 10th house matters, your career, your reputation. You're really focused up here. You've got Arachne. How can you best the gods with some kind of career ambition, some kind of career talent? What kind of tabloid expose might be appearing in your workspace and career space? And, well, Mercury's telling secrets because he's in the 8th house of secrets, and he's definitely going to spill some beans here. Now, some of this is also Mercury trying to support you around legal agreements, or not legal, but money stories, inheritances, bank loans, mortgages. Look at the fine print. Mercury can't give you fine print energy in Sagittarius. He's not prone to see the details, but you can definitely level up here if you need a little bit of money boost that supports your reputation and career ambition, especially in, as I said, debts, credit cards, mortgages, inheritances, bank loans. And Mars is like opposing Mercury. So there's tension here between your earnings and cash flow and daily money coming into your workaday life, your everyday money, and the bigger money that can come through those big kabooms of the inheritances or the stock market investments and stuff like that. I mean, Saturn's smoothing out everything here, and he's up there with Arachne, but Bellatrix is also a wealth star. And so it can bring wealth, and it's on that Mars at the time that we're looking at this wedge in the sky. So you could be up leveling some kind of income or money story here. So it looks like it levels up a little bit of access to, but you have to put the work in, hard work, disciplines, focus, and perseverance in order to achieve this financial success and reputation glow up. Mars is in your first house, Saturn in your ninth for you, Gemini, sun, moon, and rising sign. Interior process, Mars in the house of you. It's about decisions. It's about sitting still, thinking about what you want and making a choice. The choice you're going to make has to do with ninth house themes, because that's that trine energy to Saturn on Bellatrix. Now, Bellatrix is a warrior. I mean, not Bellatrix. Bellatrix is in you. Saturn is on Arachne, the weaver. Now, one way you can see that is she weaves something. So she's an artist, a creator, and the ninth house is a deeply spiritual place, but it's also the house of book publishing. So some of you Gemini people could be weaving a narrative for a book that you're trying to write, and you do have a talent that can best the gods, as they say, best Athena. And so this sense that if you have a project or a book idea or a proposal or something to do with the publishing world, you should be working your ass off to get it done in the last 10 days of November into December 3rd. And then Mercury in the contracts and legal agreements and significant other and marriage house. Now, first of all, this could be difficult communication and conversations with a business or marriage partner or a gnarly client. And this could be ongoing somewhere in the last 10 days, first 3 days of December, where you're feeling this tension, but certainly more easily around the 28th when this is more precise, 28th, 29th of November. So look for some discordant news or information or communication from somebody in your outer stories, monogamous lovers, partners, whatever. If there's any broken oaths going on here for Gemini people, Gemini rising, it could be the Punisher broken oaths. I think he's trying to remedy things in the house of land, property, and real estate. And this could look like real estate contracts and deals. Orcus also breaks the rules, and not saying you should break the rules and do a real estate deal that's a rule breaker, but that could be a temptation here. If you have any court issues that you need to resolve, and Saturn is up there in a sextile to Mercury, things resolve in your favor in legal matters that involve courts or judges and things like that. This is a quickie. I got to get off my bar stool and take a WALK with the DOG. If you're watching live in my premiere, like I'm in the chat box with you, don't forget that like button is begging to be hit. I always forget to remind you, but the algorithm takes that seriously. And then they actually share it after the live premiere with a lot more people, and it helps the channel grow. I mean, if the channel doesn't grow, I don't have I'm doing this as a job, right? So I'm doing this as my career. So please give me a hand. Thank you, guys. Leo, sun, moon, and Leo. Cancer, sun, moon, and rising. I had to do this whole video over. I started that's probably part of the problem. Long story short, I had a brain fart and was talking about Bellatrix in the wrong place. I'm like, oh no, Bellatrix is on Mars, not Saturn. And I had to redo it. So I got as far as where I am now. Cancer, sun, moon, and rising sign. For you, the energy here is that you're trying to work hard, focus, discipline, exceed your expectations with perseverance and ambition to achieve something that's about that 8th house. where Saturn's sitting in great dignity and he's with Arachne. Well, the eighth house is money. It's your savings, that your 401k, your investments, your inheritance monies, your business partner, your taxes, your credit cards, mortgages, all of that. And you're really trying to level up here. Saturn's been here for 2.5 years. You're conservative and you may have anxiety about money, but Saturn's trying to help you get very disciplined around your long-term finances. Now, Mars in your 12th house is saying PayPal, Stripe payment processors. Could you pay off a bit of debt? Could you work your ass off in the next 10 days? Could you get a debt repayment going? Could you be planning a trip to a foreign land? Maybe. Are you looking at the resources you have for that? Bellatrix can bring you wealth on Mars in 12th house matters. So this is definitely barter and trade internationally or foreign lands. And this could look a lot in our modern day, like simply being able to harness the PayPal and Stripe type processing systems that allow you to generate revenue from countries around the world. Also, Saturn is in a house of secrets. Mars is in a house of things that are hidden from view as well. So certainly there could be some secret spilling with Mercury, the tattletale involved, who wants to tell the truth. He's in Jupiter's sign in your 6th house. So there could be secrets about somebody in your workplace, secrets about something going on in a karmic relationship or with someone you're dating. But if those secrets are coming out into the light, Saturn is sticking the landing. Now, of course, Arachne's there, and she's the tabloid goddess who spilled all the gnarly secrets of the gods. So it could be a little bit difficult, but ultimately it clears the air, and any information that comes out here can benefit you. Finally, Orcus, the punisher of the broken oaths and all of that. And the rule breaker is in your 3rd house. You may want to break some rules and agreements, or you may be healing broken agreements that have to do with siblings, that have to do with false information from a sibling, aunt, uncle, cousin, niece, or nephew. And you're having to restore something there over the 10 days that follow this, 20th of November-ish to December 3rd, with an intense focus around the 28th of November. Leo, sun, moon, and rising sign. Well, hey guys, I think I need to stand up. I need to exercise more. I mean, I can't sit in a chair this long, excuse me, and talk to you guys. I need to figure out where my Pilates instructor is. Leo, sun, moon, and rising sign. This is allowing me to lean back. So just deal. And yes, it's a table mic. So what you got going here is you've got the Punisher. No, let's not start with that. Let's start with you're working hard, you're ambitious, you're focused, you're success driven, you're getting stuff done, and you're getting lasting results in your marriage and business partner house. Now, if you have a marriage partner, this can look like an attempt to really strengthen the relationship, and you're really pushing it forward and wanting it to work. Despite the fact it's very possible that some people in your larger friendship circles do not want this to work. Mars is in the house of your larger friendship groups, opposing Mercury in the house of romance, or even one of your children and or your friends aren't fond of your love partner, marriage partner, monogamous relationship, or business partnership. But there's some repair work that looks like it's trying to happen for Leos in this part of the sky, especially given that Saturn is holding fort in great dignity here. However, with the energy of Arachne there, either you're trying to uplevel a business and love relationship to a talent that can best the gods, or there may be an Arachne moment of a tabloid like spinning of a story of a yarn, because we got Mercury there about romantic stuff that may be difficult for you to digest, but ultimately is a very healing thing. Now, I did start off by telling you you're going to be working your ass off to get something done. So this can also be you're working really hard to achieve some deal or contract or negotiation or agreement, Saturn in the 7th house, that you want to solidify. May have some 5th house dealings like creativity, artist projects. Are you a creative? Are you an artist? And you're signing contracts because you're pushing forward. The broker oath, the punisher of broken oaths, Orcus, is sitting in vows, is sitting in your 2nd house. This could be a gnarly T-square that has to do with some disappointment about money that maybe the sky is trying to remedy, but through tension. Yes, you may have some kind of financial disappointment or challenge where some agreements around money are not showing up as you expected, because kind of a sidebar energy that has to do with maybe sexual relationships, lovers and romantic partners. Maybe the financial story isn't what you thought, and like your partner is your person you're with is broke or spent money that he wasn't supposed to spend or something like that. However, you want to break the rules. Wherever you see Orcus, there's a rule breaker there. So you may be breaking rules about money stuff, and it may serve you to do that by breaking some rules here. Don't even know what that could mean. If you break the rules, you tell me. All right. Moving into the next sign, Virgo, sun, moon, and rising. Well, Virgo, energetically for you, Mercury is involved. And we need to talk about that because he's the Lord of you. So we're going to start with him. When Mercury goes into Sagittarius, he's not in his strongest place. And he does this every November kind of thing. So it's nothing new. But it's where things that are going on in your private domestic home life as a Virgo rising may not be what you see is what you get when it comes to communication. So I don't know, this could be like communication breakdowns or some white lies or glossing over or things like that, or regarding agreements with leases and tenancies, especially because of Saturn in the house of leases and tenancy agreements. You need to be cautious, therefore, to read fine print to do with things to do with legal matters, leases and contracts, property, and home. However, you do have a great deal of tenacity, determination, and perseverance in your workspace. And right now you can kill it to achieve something, but you're going deeply inward and making profoundly wise decisions about what you really want. Bellatrix is bringing wealth to you. And that's what Bellatrix can do, and favors from people in high places in your work. But you are also perhaps going back over some old ground to reinvestigate decisions and action and choices in your work environment. But because it's a trine to Saturn in the work house, this could be also very good for an up level for Virgos in their workspace, getting a raise or a promotion, getting up level to management, moving into more power within the workspace. And also you're working hard. This doesn't just come to you. You can't just lay back and do nothing but watch Netflix and expect this. But certainly if you participate with working hard in the career space, being determined and deeply passionate about what you're doing, you can definitely up level in your work and career right now. And go back to the last week of September to October 1st. What were you doing in your workspace then? That may be part two of the same story. You definitely have the rule breaker in the house of you. You know, you are the one that pushes against the established rules and you want to break them. So good luck with that. You break the rules, girls and guys. You may break the rules to do with leases, agreements, home tenancies, rules of the profession, and all of that, because these are places that this rule breaker is talking to in the sky. Libra, sun, moon, and rising sign. And Libras, you just had that beautiful Venus Cazimi in October. Go watch my video. You guys are so blessed over the next 10 months. But anyway, sidebar, Libra. What I'm seeing here for you is that your perseverant and determined focus and strength and discipline and ambition lead you this like last 10 days in November into the 3rd of December to some significant achievement in your 5th house, and especially 5th house, but also 9th house area. Now, 9th house is legal matters, things to do with courts, bureaucracy, sometimes governments, visas, passports, you know, and although the 8th house is a house of taxes, right? I know a Libra dealing with a tax situation. The 9th house are the bodies of governance themselves, the people who work in the civil service. I think that Mars on Bellatrix, who's a bombastic warrior star, feminine warrior, and also the energy of the fact that Bellatrix signifies wealth and favors from people in high places bodes well if you're dealing with any kind of legislative, technical, bureaucratic stories, red tape stories. Breaking through energy in your 5th house of romance, children, inspiration, creativity, fun, and money, luck. Now, I could say you're working hard to have fun. And for some of you with Mars up here, it's planning or taking a trip. You may not take the journey right away. It may not be that you're traveling between this, you know, November 20th and December the 3rd, but at the very least, you're planning some getaway. And it looks like very foreign shores, but with Mercury in the 3rd house of short distance travel, there could also be an opening for traveling at short distance as well. Now, Mercury is in the house of siblings, aunts, uncles, cousins, and short distance travel and skills-based learning. Mercury does like to learn, and he's participating in this with a great enthusiasm. So for some of you, you may also sign up for some educational course because both Mars and Mercury are on an educational axis. But I want you to take that drive, perseverance, and energy to really push through situations using your divine inspiration of the 5th house, as well as your creative impulse. You know, there's a lot of the divine spark in that fifth house that you can call on. And Saturn is with Arachne. And so if you're at all into the book publishing world, this is a time to dig into your proposal. As Mars is in the house of book publishing, Saturn is in the house of the muse with Arachne, who could best the gods with their special talent. This is your window of time to really dive into things like book proposals, outlines, or even just writing the darn thing. Okay. Especially with Mercury in the house of writing, you're very inspired to write big bomb stories, full of Jupiter truth and wisdom. And lastly, fiction or nonfiction, you may be breaking some oaths and deals that are karmic. I like that this is here. Orca in the house of past lives or karmic stuff. You may be breaking old karmic vows, vows of poverty, vows of chastity, vows of stupidity, vows of, whatever crap you have in your past lives. So you might be breaking those vows, breaking the ones you don't need. He's a punisher of the broken oaths, but it has to do with oaths and vows. And for goodness sakes, if you took an oath or a vow that you shouldn't have done and you want to get rid of it, this is kind of a very good soul work time as well, with Mars and Saturn and Mercury squaring that punisher of broken oaths, especially 28th and 29th of November, when it's really a tight T-square. Scorpio, sun, moon, and rising sign. Well, Scorpio, this is in your sky, a story about the energy of high discipline, super focused perseverance, ambition, and success can be achieved through the 8th house Mars doing a tango-y flowing energy called a trine to Saturn. This is real estate, property, home. This can be mortgages, financing, refinancing, loans, debt relief to do with family of origin, debt relief to do with legacy and inheritances. Do you owe money to a parent or a grandparent? Are you moving toward a new home? Are you selling a home or buying a home? This is loving up the energy, but you have to take action, right? And Mars doesn't just do that. You have to take action or make decisions that are going to be very powerful. This last 10 days of November to about December 3rd, this is on your radar, but you have support from a well star Bellatrix on Mars in a money house. Bodes well. As well as favors from people in high places. This would be bankers, mortgage brokers, financiers, lenders favoring you in some way. Mercury is gnarly in Sag, so be careful about fine print when it comes to things to do with money, paychecks, salary, possessions. For some of you, though, it looks like you could sell Mercury market, merchandise, a possession, Saturn, a property. So some of you might be able to liquidate a property or buy a property. Either of those are true for Scorpio, sun, moon, and especially rising. You're breaking some oaths here. Or the punishers there, also the rule breaker against established rules in the 11th house. This could look like some difficulty with a friend. Are you punishing a friend who promised you something? Are you distancing from a social network or group that is broken an agreement with you? Are you breaking the rules within an existing social network or group? Okay, if you do, it could be very good for your money story because it's a part of a T-square connected to the money axis. Sagittarius, sun, moon, and rising sign. Sagittarius, this is really important for you because it's very angular where that Mars is sitting in your 7th house. And, Sagittarius is you and you've got Mercury there. And you're the one speaking, communicating, messaging. You're the one doing the talking here. And you're like aiming that discussion board of what it is you have to say, fiery conversation in Sag, hopefully truthful. And you're aiming it at your significant other. Now, this is like your marriage partner over with a Mars placement sitting with Bellatrix. I mean, Bellatrix with women is known as the sharp razor tongue. It's possible that the one you're with in business or love has gotten very conflictual, aggressive, or gnarly with you recently, especially since Mars has been here since August 20th. Mars is retrograding, so going back over old arguments with somebody you're with in business or love, or a gnarly client. And this tension here in the 7th house is happening and ongoing, and it's intense. And all of a sudden you, Mercury, Sag, are speaking sharply and strongly back with some fire and truth. However, be really authentic with your speech, because I know that Mercury in Sag can be also a fibber or a glosser over of truth. So be cautious. Now, the determination, perseverance energy, and the success and ambition is how you're applying some Mars energy. This can be about legal contracts, business partnerships, collaborations, partners in business, clients, how you're applying that Mars ambitious energy focus to Saturn in your third house. Now, the third house is your siblings, your aunts, uncles, cousins, your short distance travel, your local neighborhood. It looks like you guys may be trying to engineer something. A lot of Sagittarius to do with solidifying a location, to do with local neighborhood somehow. Saturn here is like, you've been feeling maybe, oh, I don't like where I live. My local neighborhood sucks ass. I don't really like it here. I haven't liked it for 2 years. And now you're trying to change that. You may be doing that through negotiations, agreements, contractual disputes even. Mars can do that in the 7th house. You might be breaking some big rules when it comes to the rules of your career, whatever that is, because you've got the oath, Punisher, broken oaths, and the the rebel against established rules in your 10th house of career. Okay. Look at him. He's up there. He's upside down. He looks like upside down Mercury with droopy arms. And I don't know what to say. It's a weird symbol, but here it is. And so in what way is this underworld Orcus god helping you break the rules so that you can move on in some fundamental way to do probably with your relationship, your marriage, your business partners, and your legal contracts and agreements that you might want to get out of? Okay. That's that. And this is siblings too. So siblings can be involved in some of this stuff in the last 10 days of November. Excuse my dry cough. Who knows why? I don't think I have COVID again, but you never know. I need to get comfy. I wonder if I should just try standing up. Okay, moving forward. Capricorn, sun, moon, and rising sign. So Capricorn, the thing here is that you can really drive home some significant financial gain with this placement in the last 10 days of November and the first 3 days of December. You've got that Saturn on the weaver of, the weaver can best the gods, Arachne, unstable Saturn in the house of earnings, with Mercury in the house of backroom deals and negotiations, and Mars in the house of your work in your workaday world. It looks a lot like you might be negotiating agreements behind the scenes for better financial output or gain from something to do with work and earnings. Yes, you could also be doing things like eliminating negative foods and substances from your life. Saturn here is tell you for 2.5, 3 years to clean up your diet, your food, your cigarettes, your vape, your wine, get rid of the too much. And Mars in your 6th house is collaborating. And he's all about things like, hey, let's eliminate all the things that make us sick. And let's have surgeries if we need it. You know what I'm talking about, Capricorn. And this story is just up leveled in the last 10 days of November, first 3 days of December. Now that rule breaking, Punisher, broken oaths is in your house of legal matters, courts, higher education, book publishing, and foreign lands. Are you going to break some rules regarding those themes? Right. I have a Capricorn ex-husband looking like expatting to Portugal. I wonder if he's going to break the rules for his visa and maybe do some mercurial fibbing about what's really his, the situation, so he can get that visa no matter what. So who knows? But visa breaking storylines could go on here. You could pay off a debt here, and you could also break a lease here. So this is like, is it time to break a lease, to move away from a lease, to pay off a debt? These are other stories to eliminate a debt. Those are happening for you. Last 10 days of November, first 3 days of December. This is me. I'm an Aquarius. Okay, so last time I had this transit, I told you guys in the beginning, if you listen, I was sick with COVID, having to pack boxes and clean an apartment as I got ready to move out because my landlord, Punisher, broke an oath. She broke the oath of the agreement about how long I could stay there. And I had like 3 weeks to get my ass out of there. So let's look at this story for me as an Aquarius rising, and for you as Aquarius rising, but sun and moon as well. Now, first of all, Saturn is in the house of us. He's traveling right now with Arachne. We like Arachne, right? She's the weaver. And I think she's a great girl for us being able to, really move into the idea of what is it we wish to weave in our lives that is special and that could best the gods, but is also that place of the, also exposing the powerful and the elite for something. But we're carrying that energy. Like we as Aquarius rising, sun and moon, we're the ones that own that energy. We're the ones that are holding it now. And so, for example, there's a fiction I want to write, and it's really going to be quite the expose on reality, a little bit like the Matrix. And so I've got that vibe right now. And Arachne, the weaver and the storyteller, in fact, the weaver of stories through tapestries, is sitting on my Saturn, on the Saturn in the sky. But this is also conjunct my ascendant, and yours too, if you have an ascendant anywhere near 19 Aquarius. Now, we have this energy, not to belabor it, but we do right now, of how to be Arachne in the world. We just don't want to get turned into a spider, so we have to be careful. And at this time, we're ambitious, powerful, driven, focused, on fifth house matters. Now, that's romance, if you have a romance and sexuality, but that'd be like working hard to be sexual, or determined to have my sex life. And if that's not what's going on, then it could be also about, because Mars is retrograde, former lovers, former sexual partners coming back from the past, and you're really determined to have some kind of important interaction with them. But otherwise, it's the inspiration house. It's the muse. It's your downloads. It's your writing, creativity, inspiration, muse driven energy. Mars is retrograde, going back over old ground. You've been here before. Is there an idea? Is there something you want to do? Do you have to flesh it out? Saturn gives you the stamina, discipline, perseverance to do it. For example, I'm thinking I'm going to that morning coffee shop a block away. It's so cute. It's called Wicked. It's called Wicked, I think, Wicked Cafe, and do my morning writing there. So this would be that. Okay. Now Mercury is in the 11th house. This is your friends and your larger social groups. And it's opposing that ambitious Mars. So this is simple. The social groups and friendships you belong to, they want to distract you from some ambitious project. Now, fifth house is your independent business enterprise. What do you have to drill down into? The last 10 days of November, first 3 days of December, I got to get my all 2023 videos out and not socialize. So you could have conflict there because, friends are like trying to tease you out of your house or out of your deep work energy. The oath breaking god, Orcus, punisher of the broken oaths, is in the 8th house. Also, he's the one who breaks the rules. Now, this is the house of taxes. This is the house of mortgages and credit cards and stuff like that. I mean, can you be breaking, could you be breaking the rules here? Maybe there's a rule breaking moment for some of us Aquarius regarding those things. Also, is it possible that you are having a healing? Because I also think about where were there oaths or contracts financially that were broken, or that were broken in your life, and that could the Punisher be remedying that? This is 8th house money. It belongs to your spouse. It belongs to inheritances. It belongs to the banks. So if you've ever had any situation where you felt that didn't work in your behalf, maybe this is a rectification time. Last 10 days, like your spouse didn't give you the alimony, palimony, spousal support. Now you're going to get it back thanks to the situation at hand. So there could be those financial remedies. Financial remedies are possible here. And I think that's about it. Lastly, Mars is in the house of children if you have adult children, but it's a trine from Saturn. You could be spending more time with a child in an industrious, focused way, like helping a child with a project or something like that as well. I'm going for Pisces, but you see what's happening, right, guys? So as I try to progress the chart, I have to go to minutes. Okay. Pisces, the best sign in the zodiac, first and always the best. I'm not going to say last but not least. All of us astrologers do it. I've got one of my followers who unsubbed because of it. Now she's thinking she'll resub if I don't say that anymore. I read all of my comments. And if you're still with me in the premiere, please like, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications. Hit the bell, help my channel grow. Thank you so much. Okay. The first, the best, and always the most amazing Pisces people. It's a story in your sky of drilling down with great determination, ambition, and discipline to succeed at it's something to do with home, property, real estate, things you're doing in and from your home, connected maybe to career, messages, communications, and even things to do with marketing and mercantile within your career path, connected to your 12th house. Saturn's holding fort with Arachne in the house of self-undoing addiction, self-defeating strategies, backroom deals, negotiations, PayPal, and Stripe. So here we go. Saturn sits with Arachne, the one who bests the gods. It's a trine to Mercury, the salesman in the 10th. Look, if you're a Pisces and you need to sell something right now, like sell your value to your boss, ask for a promotion, get a grip on your, the way that you could be promoting something in your story as a career person, this is good for you, really. Because I mean, Mercury in Sag is a speechwriter. I have a dream. He's the guy who motivates people without any fine print. But this is good for you if that's what you need to do. It's like to really sell yourself within a career endeavor or field, or sell your goodness. And possibly with Mars down here, there could be some changes in your home going on during the last 10 days of November, first 3 days of December. These changes can be, because it's a long story, ongoing until the third week of March, but there may be some news, Mercury coming through from a patriarchal or father-like character in your story that gives you more clarity about what this change of home is. Now you have the Punisher of broken oaths in the 7th house, but also the rule breaker, marriage house, business partnerships, legal contracts you have to sign, documents, agreements, vows of agreeing. There's a T-square here. There could be a really gnarly truth-telling moment going on in a legal contract agreement, business agreement, or even a marriage partnership. I don't know. I mean, the Punisher of broken oaths is also the rule breaker. So maybe there's a rule breaking thing going on with legal matters to do with property and real estate, and you're going to use the loophole to get what you want. Or you find out that your partner has broken an agreement or a promise or even a vow of fidelity. And now there's this big Punisher of broken oaths playing out in the last 10 days of November, first 3 days of December. If that's happening, what I can say, I mean, sometimes these things happen. And that, my dears, is it. Thank you for being here and listening to this. And I am now going to take a WALK with the DOG, and I can't say it out loud because then the DOG will want to go before I even go to the bathroom. But thank you, thank you, thank you. And don't forget, my 2023 videos are coming out soon. Get ready for that. You're going to get the teaser like 10 minutes each, but the hour-long ones for each of you are coming out before December 1st. That's why I have to drill in and achieve, succeed, and finish. And I sell them every year. And there's just too much love and work that goes into them just to put them out for free on YouTube. But if you want to buy them, please think about it this year and help support my channel and help support me as a professional astrologer. And yeah, you know the drill. Like, subscribe, check my description box out for all the things I'm offering. And encourage you all to think about yourselves as your own astrologer. My Sky Reader class, I'm just finishing up this one, the first one, second one, be your own astrologer, time your best life. You know, it's for one thing to listen to us astrologers babble on, but we're giving you general predictions about a whole sign, and it's middle of the bell curve stuff. If you really want to understand your sky, I really encourage you all to learn astrology. It can be done by you. You don't have to spend decades doing it to at least get the basics. And that's not even a sales pitch. It's just a recommendation. Thanks, everyone. Thank you for being here. And I will see you in my next video. And I have no idea what that's going to be. But I'll see you in the next video.